Hey everybody, we're back again. KC, Luke, and Melman, and we're doing some more confabulating here.
I think we are. What is in a name? What's in a name, they say? A lot's in a name. Thought we'd maybe kick around talking about different names, maybe our names and namesakes and stuff like that. But maybe not nicknames, because we can talk about that forever. Let's make that another segment for another time. But maybe
I've had a few nicknames.
I know. We'll do those another time.
I'll tell you what, my name is Forrest Melvin Jackson, and I always hated my name.
Yeah?
I hated Forrest. I hated Melvin.
All three names?
I like Jackson. Jackson was okay because, you know.
Action Jackson.
We had a president named Jackson, and he was a cool guy. And, you know, he got into
I don't know. He's fixing to get kicked off the $20 bill.
I got a problem with that. But anyway, my name, Forrest, because my father's name was named Forrest, and so he named me Forrest. But an odd thing is, I have a half sister, my father's daughter, she's deceased now, but she was in California, and I never met her, but I called her. When I wrote my book, I called her and talked to her, and she went by the name of Candy, and she says, "You know what my real name is, don't you?" I said, "Yeah, it's Forrest," and she says, "Why did he do that? Why did he name me Forrest?" I said, "Well, it must have been like George Foreman. He was named George, and he liked the name so well that he named all of his 5 boys George."
I'll be glad he didn't name you Candy. I think you got the better end of the deal there.
Yeah.
So, but let me ask you now, after this movie came out, you're getting a lot of "Run, Forrest, Run." You're getting that a lot, right?
Back in the 90s when it came out?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I did. Now, I don't hear it so much anymore, except I've run for county commission 3 different times. I get it when I
run, Forrest, running for office.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
You should have turned that around and used it for campaign.
Yeah, exactly.
Slogan: Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah, I'd have run with that.
I'd have voted for you. I would have voted for you. No, I'm kidding. I don't remember who I voted for, but what do you prefer to be called as first name?
Well, I grew up with everybody calling me Mel, but my father always called me Forrest. So I grew up, and when I went to school and registered for school, you know, they always started calling you Forrest. And then I'd have to go through, like, you know, hey, you know, at home they call me Mel. Can you call? I'd always have to do that.
Where did Mel or Melvin come from?
Melvin came from my uncle. Now, the story with that is my father, when they were little boys, my father was always hot-natured, and on cold winter's night, he was real hot, so he opened up the bedroom window, and his little brother Melvin got pneumonia and died.
Oh, my goodness.
So my father felt bad, so he named me, my namesake was Melvin. He named me after Melvin.
That's a pretty cool story.
Yeah.
It is.
Where's your name from?
I never ask. I think about both my parents are dead, and I never asked them, why in the world did you decide to name me Kenneth Eugene? I hate the name Eugene. I don't particularly like for the name Kenneth.
I don't understand Eugene.
I don't either. I mean, to me, that's one of the strangest names in the world. Eugene. I mean, I've always wondered, what the crap is that about?
Eugene, me, Luke.
Yeah. Got anything to do with blue jeans?
I don't know, but I always did. I thought, you know, it's just like a take off on the name Gene, but I think most Genes are Eugenes. I think maybe we were all named after Eugene, Oregon. But I was not named after anybody that I know of. And I don't know why they came up with the name Eugene. And I wished they had named me after one of my other relatives.
Which one?
Not my father, because I didn't like his name either. I mean, I like his name for him, but I wouldn't want it to be.
It's him good, right?
Yeah, Ralph. I mean, he was a Ralph.
What was his middle name?
Wayne.
Ralph Wayne.
And his nephew, my first cousin, was named Wayne after him.
I know Wayne.
And but I had some ancestors. You know, I wouldn't mind being Alderman Carlton.
I had Alderman Wilson in my family.
And I wouldn't mind being Wright Carlton.
Right,
but I would not want to have been named after my grandfather.
Ray.
Harney.
Oh, Arnie.
Harney.
Harney.
That was his name.
I mean,
that wasn't a nickname or short.
You would have took a ribbon in high school for being Harney Carlton.
Unless he worked in a carnival, he could be a Carney
Harney
Harney.
the Carney.
No, but in high school, you would have caught heck for that. I mean, you'd have learned to fight real quick. But I had an uncle that was not really an uncle. He was a cousin, but a lot of our older cousins we called uncles.
Right.
And his name was Harley Carlton. I would love to have been named
That's a
Harley.
pretty cool one.
That would have been a cool one. But Wright, Alderman, I would not want to have been named Daniel Carlton after Daniel Carlton. But there was some of them back there that had some pretty cool names. But for some reason they decided to, and I wouldn't want to have been named after my mother's grandfather. I mean, my mother's father, because his name was William. And I don't want to be William or Bill. Not that I ain't against William or Bill, but I mean, it's just one of those names.
Willie Carlton.
I could have been Willie. Willie would have been so bad.
Willie would be a cool name.
Yeah, but now I did name my son Justin Martin Carlton, and I got the Martin from my mother's maiden name. Her maiden name was Martin.
That's good.
And so I did that, Martin. And I have a granddaughter that was named, her middle name after my mother. Her middle name is Rose. And I have a niece now that her middle name is Rose, and her first name was Charlotte. And we have two in our background that were Charlotte. So, but that's where I go with that. But
I always encourage people to ask your parents where your name came from. And
yeah, I wish I had
because when they're gone, that's gone with them.
Yeah. So, what about you?
I was named after my grandfather. His name was Luther Wilson, and on his gravestone out in the Owen Cemetery it says Luther H. Wilson, and my parents named me Luther Harry Wilson, and I thought up until less than a year ago that I was named for him exactly. But in digging around on Ancestry.com, I found something he registered for. Might have been like during World War I or something like that, that his name was Luther Harrison Wilson. And that just shocked me to no end because I thought we had the same exact name. Then I realized, because I knew that his mother's maiden name was Harrison. That's where that came from. But I always thought his name was Harry. Of course, my parents, they called me Harry until we were 12, and my father retired. We moved here, and we started school, and they started calling me Luther. And that name got around because people here didn't know me, so I was Luther for a while. But my father mercifully shortened it to Luke somehow, and that stuck, and I'm glad of that.
Yeah, I like that name.
I thought
You
about
got a good-
legally changing it, but
You got
I
a good
just
name,
never have.
Luke.
But names go way back, and if you study enough of your ancestry, you can see a pattern of these names just keep appearing in almost every generation.
I'm glad looking at you now, I'm glad they didn't name you Harry Luke Wilson.
Yeah, I'm Harry now. Back then I had a bald head. They shaved my head when they called me Harry. Now that I'm harrying with a beard, they calls me Harry.
You could have been Harry Luke Wilson.
I know.
Hey, why don't you do that? If you do go to the
Harry
trouble
Luke.
to have it changed legally,
Luke.
change it
Switch
to
it
Harry
around.
Luke Wilson.
Harry Luke.
Well, you can change your name too, Casey. Get rid of that Eugene.
That's right.
I'm still.
Oh, well, now that I'm stuck with it, and my parents, for some reason, wanted me to be Eugene. I normally don't even tell people what I hate it so much. I don't tell people what my middle name is. I go by, I've always just, somebody said, what's your name? And I tell them Kenneth E. Carlton.
What's your name,
I sign my
little
name,
boy?
Kenneth E.
What's your
Carlton,
name?
all that, but I've never signed my name or told, I'm Kenneth Eugene Carlton.
I'd like to be.
All right.
I'd be like to be called Pablo.
Okay, we'll call you that, Pablo.
Escobar?
No, well, Paul's one of my favorites. Anyway,
Picasso.
we're running out of time here, folks. So we'll be back with the Coon Prairie Ramblers. See you in a few minutes.
I think we're out of time.